My name is Chris Cook. I'm the Executive Director of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. Thank you so much for being here. How about a round of applause for North Meadow on the Greenway? I think everyone in this construction site has contributed in some way to making this park a reality. So this could be a long speaking program. So by the end of it, hopefully everyone who's in this construction site gets individually thanked, and we'll get out of here in 2 or 3 hours. So I also want to thank the weather for cooperating. This is the only 20 minutes where it will not be raining this week, so that's exciting. But we are excited to be here at the Greenway Conservancy. This is a park that has connected historically divided neighborhoods in our city and has divided Bostonians from its waterfront. And today we're building on the legacy of the Greenway by continuing to grow this incredible urban oasis in this amazing, vibrant city. None of this happens without all the partners who will speak here today. But first, I'd like to start with thanking the men and women of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy for all the work that they do in taking care of this park every single day. So we have a big agenda, so I'm going to get right to it. Our first speaker is a very, very strong advocate of green space in our city. And in fact, the first time I met her, she was arguing that Malcolm X Park in Roxbury didn't look the same as other parks in our city. And she was 100% right. She advocated for funding for that park. And now, as mayor, she is using that park as a demonstration project as to how the city can continue equitable procurement and expand opportunity through its capital program. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge park supporter, Mayor Kim Janey.
Thank you so much, Chris. When I first met Chris, I called him the chief of all things green. I do love all things green, and this is a wonderful opportunity to be here this morning. And I want to thank you, Chris, for your years of service to the city of Boston, and certainly congratulate you as you lead in our city still, but for your continued partnership. So thank you so much. You know, this is a great day, and I know so many people have contributed to this day, and I also want to acknowledge the electeds that are here. I want to start by thanking our state senator, Joe Boncory, for his leadership and his partnership, for State Representative Aaron Michaelwitz, and I want to congratulate you again on the budget. Lots of important investments there. I want to recognize City Councilor Lydia Edwards, and I also want to recognize the Transportation Secretary and CEO, Jamie Tesler. I want to thank everyone. I know the Wharf District is here. So many residents are here who have made this happen, and certainly your team, Chris. This is an important opportunity, and so I'm really glad for us to be able to be here with no rain, to break ground on an opportunity to connect our communities. And we do that because of the residents and the advocacy and the commitment, certainly that the City of Boston has, that I have as mayor, but everyone who has made this day possible to connect our neighborhoods and to promote more green space and make sure that everyone has access to this green space. This is a demonstration of an important partnership. And as I was just sharing with Chris, we all know about the emerald necklace in Boston. And now we've got a chance here to create an emerald bracelet. And so I am particularly glad for everyone who made this possible. And I also want to acknowledge the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, the Boston Planning Development Agency, and the Greenway Business Improvement District, and of course, the Greenway Conservancy. I want to thank everyone from public to private to our electeds, and most of all, our residents and people who care so much, live in this area, the people who work in this area who have made this day possible. I look forward to the time when we will be back to cut the ribbon. Thank you all for your advocacy and your continued partnership in the City of Boston and promoting all things green. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Greatly appreciate that, and greatly appreciate the entire city team who's contributed to this project, especially the Boston Planning and Development Agency. I know I don't believe Director Golden is here, but his entire team, you know, whether it's Lauren or Kenan or Eileen Brophy, they've all worked individually and made contributions to this park. And in fact, the BPDA actually co-led with the Conservancy the design process. And I want to thank the landscape architects. Ask Plus is here. If you could raise your hand, Sarah. Thank you very much. As you start to see the beautiful design that gets built here, we're incredibly grateful for the work of the BPDA with the designers in making that happen. I also want to thank Bob Stigberg and Rebecca McKevitz from the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy for their work on the design process. And also on site today is the contractors from Nelm. Ray is here from Nelm. Ray, if you could raise your hand. Ray has promised a project that everyone is going to be proud of, and knowing from his reputation, I think that's absolutely true. So Ray, thank you for bidding on this project, and thank you for continuing to work on it. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the Greenway is a partnership with what some people would think is an odd relationship, but we think is the perfect relationship. If you remember what was here, what used to divide our city was a major transportation infrastructure. And having that transportation infrastructure beneath us has created a partnership that has resulted in this incredible bucolic ribbon of green through our city that has added value and promoted equity in our city. It's just an incredible relationship that we have with the Department of Transportation. But that relationship has to be nurtured by leadership. And the leadership that this next speaker has shown has been tremendous during his time as the Transportation Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Jamie Tussler.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Director Cook, thank you for your words and thank you for your partnership. Mayor Janney, Chairman Boncori, Chairman Michaelwitz, and other elected officials, members of the Business Improvement District, community leaders. This is really a true partnership that brings us here today. A partnership that has taken time and work and effort by all, and we greatly appreciate it. And it's my pleasure to be here today to celebrate the start of construction for the North Meadow. On behalf of the Baker and Polito administration, I want to thank you all for the partnerships and engagement that have made this day possible. The support of the business community, the neighborhood, the city of Boston, the Business Improvement District leadership have led us today where we can stand here and see ourselves and see how this 5,000 square foot piece of land is going to be transformed. And as Chris just spoke, we remember how this area used to be. We remember seeing and hearing the traffic overhead. And since the elevated artery came down, we've been awed by the transformation between North and South Station. I appreciate and admire, as we all do, how far we have come and where we are today. The beautiful Greenway is a shining example about what we can make happen with partnership and with creativity. The former Central Artery has become one of the jewels in Boston and one of the most celebrated public park areas in all the world. In October 2015, Governor Charlie Baker announced his administration's initiative for developing unused and underutilized state properties. The governor's goal was to put sites to better use, to benefit communities, drive economic growth, create housing and more public space. Using this site, owned by the state, in keeping with the governor's goal to leverage underutilized real estate, is why we're here today. And I'd like to thank the dedicated colleagues throughout MassDOT who work closely every day with the Greenway and the City of Boston and the Boston Planning and Development Agency to make this possible here on the North Meadow. The transformation of this parcel into the North Meadow is an important milestone and another success story about how partnerships and vision can transform something ordinary into something extraordinary. I look forward to returning here to see the North Meadow on the Greenway when the work is completed. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Secretary. And I do have to appreciate, again, the partnership to make this a reality. Not only, I mean, first off, DOT actually rolled up. Their event staff actually set this up today with the Greenway, so thank you for that. But working with the BPDA to secure mitigation funds so that the community can enjoy this amazing space. You know, whether it's the Beverly, the Parcel 1B, 1C project, Hub on Causeway, One Congress, and the other projects that have contributed to this. We're so incredibly grateful. I want to acknowledge, though, that the support the Secretary receives from the legislature is critically important. And there's a person there who's a massive supporter of equitable transportation, as well as expanding green space opportunities, not only in his district, but beyond that. And that's the chair of House Ways and Means, Representative Aaron Mikowitz.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chris, for the kind words. And I just want to first start saying, I know we're all very excited that Chris Cook is now the executive director of the Conservancy, but I'm going to tell you, no one's more excited than I am to see Chris Cook become the executive director. I am excited beyond words to see where the Greenway goes, the partnerships that have been developed over the years, and how he's going to take that to the next level. So, Chris, thank you first and foremost for everything that you've been doing, and I know everything that you're going to do going forward. Today is a great day. I'm thankful that the weather held off. Finally, a day in July where we're not getting rain, I guess. We'll cross our fingers. It doesn't look, I mean, it still looks a little iffy. But you know, today is a great day because we are growing up in the North End, living in downtown Boston. You know, green spaces are our backyards, as many of you know that live here. You know, this is where you know, a lot of people, even other parts of the city, you may have a small piece of the backyard or other parts of the Commonwealth, certainly. But for us, this is our backyard. This is where we celebrate events. This is where we go out to get some fresh air and to enjoy a day. And developing more green space in downtown is always a win. It doesn't matter how you get there and how it happens. It is always a win. And so today is a huge win for the neighborhood of the North End, for people in the Bullfinch Triangle, for people at downtown, across the neighborhood, across the city. So you know, I'm old enough to remember when this parcel was supposed to be a development parcel, and there was supposed to be a tall building that was sitting here. When we first started going through these individual parcels across the Greenway, this was initially subject to be a development parcel, a very tight one, as we can see, but it was supposed to be a building. For us to be able to turn that around and become a park is only because of the leadership of both MassDOT, the Greenway, the City of Boston, and everyone that's here. You all deserve a lot of credit for us to be able to have this green space here today. And because of what it was, it makes it even more special today that we have this. I want to thank the mayor for your leadership and for your friendship throughout the time that you've been serving so far. Of course, my senator and my dear friend Joe Boncore, a legislative partner like I couldn't ask for anybody else better. He has been great for this neighborhood, and he has been great to work with up at the State House. And, of course, my city council, Lydia Edwards, thank you for all your work and all your partnership over the years in helping us develop any type of land like this, obviously for green space. So thank you once again. This is a great day. And like everyone says, I enjoyed coming back for the ribbon cutting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative. The next speaker, every meeting I've ever been in with him, not some of the meetings, every single meeting I've ever been in with him, he's been advocating for better transportation and better parks in his district. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chair of Transportation, State Senator Joe Boncore.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for those kind words. And I know the Secretary shares your sentiment, and it's been a pleasure to work both with the Secretary and Chris Cook in the previous capacities in the city. And I'm really looking forward to the time we'll work together in your new steed. You'll serve the Conservancy well, and you'll serve the city well. And your breadth of knowledge on these issues is really something we look forward to. What a wonderful day we're here today, to be here today. The weather's cooperating. People are here. I know there's some rumors about me, but I want to clear things up today. I will not be a late entry into the city of Boston's mayor's race. So I just wanted everyone to be very clear on what's going on with me and my life. And that is because I'm from Winthrop, so they said I just couldn't do it. But really, to me, Mayor Janey, you've done a wonderful job in being an advocate for Boston's green spaces and urban parks in your council district and now citywide. And this is really the best of what government represents. A collaboration between the administration, the legislature at the state, a collaboration between nonprofits in the city, as well as for-profit corporations to come together and make an investment. The people of the North End and this downtown district can remember what this district used to look like, can remember what this street used to look like, and have been a huge part of the transformation of the Greenway from an elevated highway into really the most beautiful park, I think, urban park in this side of the city. And that just doesn't happen. It comes from years of advocacy from elected leaders, and maybe none better than Chairman Aaron Michowitz. Aaron Michowitz has brought me along in the North End, brought me along, I think, in the Greenway Conservancy meetings. You know, the Greenway was always subject, to a lot of discussion, I would say, between the city and the state. Some of that discussion was great and some of it not so great. But through his leadership in the legislature, we've been able to collaborate, form a bid, have everyone have a better understanding of what their contribution needs to be. And those results bear out today. We're so excited and looking forward to that. And every step of the way, I have to say our city councilor, Lydia Edwards, has been part of the transformation of the Greenway, the legislature around it, and the partnership between the city and the state. So I'm so happy to be here. I will be back for the ribbon cutting, and I'm looking forward to the same. So congratulations to all involved. Thank you very much.
If there was a dictionary of equitable decision-making and putting people first of every single decision that you make as an elected official, there'd be a picture of City Councilor Lydia Edwards next to it. She's someone who puts the people of her district first every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, City Councilor Lydia Edwards.
Thank you very much, and I just also want to acknowledge the incredible working relationship I have with Representative Michowitz, with Senator Boncory, and of course with Mayor Janey. I think one of the first votes, actually, Mayor Janey and I took when we were both city councilors was in support of the bid. I remember actually that's how we met, Rick. That's how we met. He came into my office and he said, "You know what? We've come together and we think we can get this done. And we want not only green space, but we want permanent investment that is about the community, that is invested with community dollars, and it assures that we grow our community and who has access to open space." And I was proud to vote for it then. I'm proud to continue to support it, and I'm incredibly proud to see what it's doing. From here all the way down almost to Chinatown, you are seeing open space flourish, and you are seeing community come together. It's especially important in a pandemic that open space is equitable and beautiful and people feel that they belong. And I have to say, I want to thank the Greenway Conservancy in their dedication to that. And the many meetings we've had about having equity and making sure that what we design in terms of programming and artwork and beauty speaks to every Bostonian in every language, and making sure that they feel welcome and loved and that this is also their park. I want to thank the butters who also voted for and are continuing to invest in this park. But most importantly, it's you, the people that I am honored to serve, that are going to continue to define what this park is and continue to make sure that it is a truly open space for all. I am beyond excited to see what this becomes and how it became is now a roadway for many people and how they're going to develop parks in their own neighborhoods. So your leadership, this community, our continued investment demonstrates the best of Boston, honestly. And Winthrop too. Joe Boncory and Winthrop is in there too, we know. But honestly, I just want to say thank you for this. I can't wait. And I think actually, well, I won't introduce you, but I will say again, thanks for the bid. Can I introduce him? My friend Rick Domino from ABC is going to come up here and talk about the bid and going to talk about this process and his leadership. I just want to put a note in. The City Council is also considering a tourism marketing bid that will complement this bid, with many of the hotels coming together to make sure that they too are continuing to invest and have private dollars. And I will also give credit where credit is due to Chairman Michowitz for that as well, as he put it in last year's budget. So thank you.
Thank you, City Councilor Edwards. So City Councilor Edwards represents the neighborhood that I grew up in, and she is doing an amazing job. That's East Boston, and I couldn't be prouder to have you represent the neighborhood that I grew up in. You've just done a great job. And when Mayor Janey and City Councilor Edwards had a chance to talk to people like me and Steve Faber and Kim Sherman-Sempler, who's in the audience from Related Beal, and Ron Drucker about the idea, and there's Suzanne from the WAF District, who we partner with, to talk to the abutters. When our great mayor and our city councilor talked to us as abutters and said, we want to roll up our sleeves and work with you guys about creating a business improvement district together with the Conservancy and the great leadership of Governor Baker and the MassDOT and the Boston Planning and Development Agencies and our great elected officials and legislators, they said yes. And City Councilor Edwards and Mayor Janey led a unanimous vote of the City Council for us to create this bid, and I can't tell you how much I want to thank you for that. You guys are amazing elected officials, and so this is about a partnership. Please know that, and I'm very fortunate to have been part of this partnership for a number of years. One funny, quick story. So, believe it or not, in 1991, there's a few of us that were involved with permitting this project. In fact, the chairman of the Conservancy, Doug Usid, was part of the permitting team together with myself and a former colleague, Secretary Salvucci. And Aaron Yes was a young man who would be biting at our knees and ankles, telling us to do the right thing. And he's still a young man compared to Doug and I. But I can tell you this, that permitting led to what we did, which is really strange, is we named every single one of these parcels from North Station to South Stations with numbers. So now it's 30 years later, and we're now at the North Meadow of the Greenway. And I'm so glad that we finally came up with a better name for Parcel 2. And I'm so glad that the partnership of the Conservancy and MassDOT, and Secretary Tesler, by the way, so Secretary Tesler has been involved with MassDOT in this project for years. He became the acting secretary, and in short order, he rolled up his sleeves and said, yes, I want to invest in this project. And that's leadership. That's leadership right out of the gate of our Secretary of MassDOT. And MassDOT takes care of this every single day. Every single day, they're kind of like our quiet partner, but they're a big financial partner, and they're also an amazing leadership partner. And as I know people have said this before, but Representative Michaelwitz and Senator Boncory, you couldn't have better state legislators. I mean, anytime. It's kind of like, I know when I visit their office, it's like, oh, gee, you're here again? But every time I'm there, they stand up and they're ready to go to do the right thing by the communities they represent. And these buildings are filled with people. And these buildings are represented by people. And these buildings help to shape the community together with this great neighborhood in the North End. And I remember when I got to be involved with the permitting of this was very important to the neighborhoods along this city, to the WAF District neighborhood, to the Chinatown neighborhood, to the North End. And I'm so proud that the Conservancy has led the efforts back to 2007 to create what this wonderful place is today. And to have Chris Cook be leading this amazing asset, it's kind of like the Babe Ruth story. We stole Chris to get him to be the head director of the Conservancy, but we came Babe Ruth in Boston, which is wonderful. So, Chris, we couldn't be happy to have you involved with the leadership of this. I loved working with you. I'm loving to continue to work with you, and we're very grateful for your work in the board of the Conservancy and Doug Usid in his chairmanship. So, and I want to just mention one other thing. As I said to you before, building owners and developers are partners. They're incredible people. They're nice people. They actually do great things. We wouldn't have created a bid unless they all said, yeah, we want to roll up our sleeves and do this. And we couldn't have a better chair. I'll let Chris introduce him. And it's my good fortune to work with that bid board, and together with Jane O'Hearn and Tom Ryan, who are the staff people of the bid. So, Chris, I'll turn it back to you, and thank you so much for time here today.
Thank you so much, Rick. Very grateful. Rick already mentioned, but I do want to thank Jane and Tom from the Business Improvement District and the countless hours that they put into not only this project, but all the other projects. Thank you for everything you do. Rick already touched on this to a great extent, but this is true. This is what collaboration and partnership between private development and real estate can generate for the public realm. It can generate beauty. And we're very, very grateful for the Business Improvement District, not only for its leadership, but also for its contributions. And just to remind most people in this audience, it isn't just contributions through the Business Improvement District. The majority of those also philanthropically support the Conservancy and the other activities that takes place into the park. And so we're incredibly grateful for that. Again, there's outstanding leadership there. And I do want to introduce the bid board chair, Steve Faber, who also represents Related Beal. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, so when you go last, there's one rule: be short. And I certainly will be. But I want to thank Chris. It really struck me walking down from our location, which is essentially on the corner of Milk Street, right outside the Greenway, and having the opportunity of walking down and just enjoying this amazing park. You know, it's one thing to have the asset and to have it available to you. It's another thing to execute on that. And as I walked down, it just struck me how amazing and what a beautiful job the people of the Greenway Conservancy, the workers, the folks that are horticulturists and designers have done. And Chris, you have taken over a great team. And I want to tell you, as a private investor, how easy it was for us to come to conclusion to say, let's help, let's put money in when you see what an amazing job they're doing. So I'd like to give a shout out once again to the Greenway team for the great park that they're giving us every day. So thank you. You know, I have the easiest job in the world, really. Our board is essentially tasked with doing one thing, and that is essentially providing some level of funding to the Greenway, and it's something that we feel really good about in our hearts and in our minds, and we also know that it's great for the business of Boston. And really, when you think about public-private partnerships, this is no better example of how to execute on something that's really in the best interests of the entire city, not only the business community, but all of the people of Boston, than to be able to come together and pool our resources and our expertise and execute on great open space and green space for all of us. So with that, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to address and to represent the property owners in the Greenway bid.
Thank you so much, Steve. And thank you for your leadership. We're incredibly grateful. Also grateful to the outstanding board of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. Here today, Suzanne Lavoie, John Shea, Kim Sherman-Stamler, Connor Finley, Matt Conti, Carmen Garano, Kirsten Hoffman, and Kate Fichter from DOT. If you could give them all a round of applause. I mean, what other nonprofit in the city has that many board members showing up to an event? So just incredibly grateful for all that leadership. But at the very top of that is our board chair. And he's been incredible through this process, personally rolling up his sleeves and making this project get to the start, not the finish line, but the start of the race. We're starting here today. And that is our board chair, Doug Huset.
So this is the part of the program where everything that needs to be said has been said. It just hasn't been said by everybody. So I will be very brief. First, I do want to thank the Greenway staff, which does do an incredible job every day of keeping this magnificent park looking the way it looks and open to the people of the city of Boston day in and day out. And I think the last year and a half has proven to us the incredible value of open space to us in our everyday lives. And I think the availability of the Greenway during COVID, I think, has been particularly valuable and reinforced what an incredible resource the Greenway is to the city, not only to the people that are fortunate enough to live nearby, but also to everybody in the city. And I think just a short visit to the Rings Fountain on any day will give you a sense of what a resource this can be to the whole city. And I think it's something that the board focuses on every day. How do we make this a resource for the city and for the region and for the state? So something that we dedicate ourselves to, and I know that everybody here is focused on. And you know, for me, this has been a 40-year journey, as it has been for Rick and other people. So it is particularly exciting to see this parcel come to life, because it has been something people in this part of the Greenway have focused on for a long time. How do we bring it to life? And it's particularly nice to have Chris Cook along for the ride. After listening to this, I wonder if my chairmanship would have been in great peril had we not chosen Chris Cook as our chairman. So we are delighted to have him on board, and in the short tenure here, he's proven that all the recommendations from many of the people sitting here today have proven to be worthwhile. But I do want to thank everyone sitting on the podium today, because every one of you have contributed significantly, not only to this event, but to the success of the Greenway. And while I have you all here, I think we probably have a quorum to renew the bid. So if I could have a motion. But seriously, maintaining this Greenway, getting to this point, I mean, people look at the Greenway today and think of what a remarkable resource it is, but it did not happen overnight. It happened as a result of a lot of hard work, politically, practically, on the ground, financially. There were many battles. But this was always conceived, as Rick and others who were there at the beginning, as a resource for the people of Boston and for the people of the region. And in many ways, it was a project paid for by transportation dollars, but for the purpose of reuniting the city with its waterfront and the neighborhood and reconnecting the neighborhoods. And this is just an incredibly important link in that process. So it's an incredibly exciting moment to see this happen. But these partnerships are fragile, and we need people in these institutions and preserving these institutions, and people like the ones that are up here today to continue the legacy of the commitment to the Greenway. So it's wonderful to see the turnout today, to see the level of commitment from each one of these folks today, and to know that the legacy, for the moment at least, is in good hands, but remembering that we need to pay attention to it every day and every week and every month. So I know that everyone here will keep that in mind as we go forward, and as we come back for this ribbon cutting, and for hopefully many ribbon cuttings to follow. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doug. And Doug's comments remind me that this is a city asset and a Commonwealth asset. After all of the Commonwealth's taxpayers help create this and make it beautiful. So everyone pays for this park, so everyone should feel welcome at this park. And someone who makes sure that that happens every day is the Parks Commissioner for the City of Boston, who happens to be here, Ryan Woods. So if you give Ryan Woods a great round of applause, I only have to worry about one park. He has to worry about 331. So with that, I would like to have all the speakers please join us by grabbing a shovel as we get ready to break ground on North Meadow on the Greenway. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you so much.